Hello and welcome to everyone joining this session. This is a very, very special event for us. In this session, we launched the Accelerator Program for Healthcare Startups supported by UBS Optimus Foundation. Healthcare startups who have innovative solutions for problems in the spaces of frontline healthcare, safe surgery, pediatric cancer will benefit from this initiative of Will Grow. The launch will be followed by a fireside chat between Ms. Dhun, Head of Social Finance and India Head for UBS Optimus Foundation, and Mr. Srinivas Ramanujan, the CEO at Will Grow India. So without further ado, let's get started. Over to you, Dhan.
Thanks, Bala. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm very pleased today to announce the launch of the Accelerator Program for healthcare social enterprises together with the Will Grow Innovation Foundation. This accelerator closely aligns with the UBS Optimus Foundation's health focus for better health outcomes to underserved communities in India. It will support social enterprises through a structured incubation program to help companies generate measurable social returns as they grow. Will Grow is India's oldest social incubator and has a strong track record in delivering impact and financial returns. And so we're delighted to partner with them. We would like for the program to enable innovation in the areas of frontline healthcare, safe surgery, and pediatric cancer, as Bala mentioned. And through the program, we would also like to learn more about the challenges faced by health enterprises in India, the innovation need and requirements of the end users. We're hoping that the accelerator will create a very strong pipeline of investment-ready health enterprises that are developing solutions that improve access and quality, affordable healthcare for India's underserved, and particularly for children in India. So with that, I'm very, very pleased to be here and to announce the launch of this program.
Thank you, Dan. We're super excited, probably more excited than you, because while Will Grow has been working in the healthcare sector for more than a decade, what's exciting to us is the fact that your interest in looking at those those startups which have an MVP which is ready, which are in market, and you're giving them an opportunity to be able to get investment ready and demonstrate that they can provide financial return along with social return to investors and funders. If you can help me understand, as I'm super excited because frankly for me it's a really unique opportunity for us at Will Grow and also for enterprises in India. What sort of triggered this for you?
So I guess at the UBS Optimus Foundation, we have a very strong focus on innovation and on promoting market-based solutions. So financial viability of impact of strong programs that are driving impact is core to us as a foundation, and we have done quite some work in the area of social finance, where we're really looking to support organizations, for-profit or non-profit, to drive greater impact. And in the for-profit social enterprise startup space, we look to increasingly support organizations where the social impact and financial returns are directly linked and so intertwined that as the enterprise grows, the impact and the impact potential grows along with that. And so this is a very exciting space for us as a foundation and aligns very, very closely to our social finance strategy.
Thank you, Dan. To all the entrepreneurs who are listening in and those who had already reached out to us before this program to understand what this accelerator was about. So this is a little bit of a primer of what you can expect. See, the fact is that many of you have already gone through and cross stages like 3RL6. You probably have already have an MVP. You may most likely have a few paying customers. We're really excited to have those of you here because it's designed for you, right? And I assume that you've already spent around 3 to 4 years sharpening your product, getting it right, and you've got your certifications in place. Because accelerator like incubator like Velcro has been working with companies at an earlier stage, but now for us it's an opportunity to continue the journey with you after you finished your product and see how you can get investment ready. Now, how will you demonstrate success to us at Velcro and to the UBS Optimus Foundation? We want to see, and that's the reason why this is like a 100-day, 120-day program. For the bulk of the engagement with us, you're going to be looking at seeing how you can see your efficacy of your product, see how you can demonstrate that it's viable and scalable. And towards the latter half of the program, we're going to be working with you to get you ready for investment, get you ready to be able to pitch to a whole variety of funders. Right? And we want you to put your best foot forward. And if you really can pull it off, and I think there's really a fantastic amount of exposure that's been get. Frankly, what we're also looking for are those who are ambitious, startups which have the drive and who are willing and who want to not just tackle the problems in India, but also tackle the problems in equivalent, similar geographies, which have the similar kind of challenges. Because children are in many ways underserved, even within the underserved communities across many geographies in the world. So if something that you develop in India works, it is equally likely for it to work in other parts of the world. So we really want those entrepreneurs who are hungry for success, who are willing to really take this forward and demonstrate that drive to us at Velcro and UBS. So how can you make the most of it? You can make the most of it if from the very first day, you're able to network well, you're able to really overcome any specific challenges, not keep saying that, not taking status quo for granted, but really start showing the ability to think out of the box to solve challenges. Many of the challenges you'll face will actually be business challenges, not so much technical challenges. You already overcome them. Yeah, we might make an introduction to a healthcare chain or to a diagnostics lab. We're really keen to see how you make the most of it, how you can pursue a lead and convince the decision makers on the other end. Because if you can, that's what is going to signal to us that you can. You are going to demonstrate it again and again and prove that you can scale your company. So those are some indicators for us that you are the one. And so let me pause there. And do you have any specific thing that you're looking for, which in your eyes will demonstrate to you that you found the right entrepreneur for your pipeline?
I think it's a lot of what you just mentioned, Srinivas. It's really looking at those entrepreneurs who are willing to really draw the most out of this support that is being provided, not just from the Velcro team and the industry experts that you will be bringing to support them, but also from their peers. And this is something that we've found increasingly, even in other incubator and acceleration programs that we've supported outside of India, is that quality of the peer cohort is so important, and those enterprises who can really draw on that and really learn from their peers and support them tend to do really well in this kind of initiative. Also thinking always about the financial return and how to connect it directly to the social impact angle that you are driving for is extremely important, and to continuously balance some of the potential tensions between the two, and to keep that front and center. You see a mix of entrepreneurs, some who tend to be more tech focused, or very in the details of the product, and might lose sight sometimes of the bigger picture. What is the addressable market? What is the business plan? What is the growth plan? So keeping an eye on both the fundamental facets to success here, which are impact and financial viability, I think will be key.
Awesome. No, thank you, Dhan, because I don't think an entrepreneur can get a better partner than the UBS Optimus Foundation, because not only are you I think supporters financially, but you've been innovators in your own right. I just remember being part of a meeting way back in April 2018 at the Skoll Forum in Oxford, when I think your foundation, along with Unis Social Business, spoke about the launch of probably the world's first DIB, right? And in Africa, and it was in water. So you do have a track record of coming up with new innovation, either financial or even the way you're supporting the impact and the development sectors. So to entrepreneurs who are listening there, and those who are probably going to watch the recording later, this is an opportunity to get on the ground floor and partner with one of the best innovators, supporters of the ecosystem. And let me also just give you a quick snapshot of the kind of important dates, the timelines that we're following in this program. You're all aware we're launching it today, right? That's what's been announced. We will call for applications from now, and applications close on 15th April. Right? Sorry, not 15th April, a little before that, but we're going to be screening, figuring out who are the right ones. And by the third week of April, between 21 and 25, we're going to be closing the final cohort. And for the next 100 days, you're pretty much going to be working really hard with us to demonstrate that you are the right company to be part of this. And by 25th July, you're going to be in a place that's already convinced us. So between 25th July and 15th August is your time to shine, is your time to be speaking with a whole bunch of partners that we will get you, a whole bunch of demo days. And at the end of it, some of you are going to get funded, some of you are going to get showcased in many other forums across. Yeah, so remember those dates, apply, but make sure your application's in before 15th April. From then starts the clock. By 25th July, you're going to be in a position that you're ready, and then we will work with you for the next 3 weeks. 15th August, coinciding with Independence Day, is like it's when the sort of D-Day would end. Yeah, but let me stop there. I think we've spoken enough. Is there any questions? Yes, there are. I'm just going to quickly.
Srinivas, I think there's a good question on the focus areas.
Yes. Good point. Do you want to take that, or shall I?
Should I? So I recognize that they are quite niche areas. So maybe I can speak to why. So particularly, as I said, our focus in healthcare is to look at better health outcomes for the most vulnerable communities. And at the Optimus Foundation, we've identified 3 key areas. These are almost our sub-strategies within the health space: safe surgery, frontline health, and pediatric cancer. Now, if you look at safe surgery, surgery is actually one of the most neglected health challenges today. It's underfunded, it's under-recognized, so there's very little attention going to it. And you actually have over 5 billion people who lack access to safe, affordable surgical care. 94% of people living in low and middle income countries. And so if you look at the actual result of that, is that you're seeing 17 million deaths per year resulting from just access to basic surgical care, which is more than HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria all put together. So an important area that we as a foundation are particularly focused on, and see an opportunity also in the Indian market, because it's not, to solve this problem isn't some kind of big intangible solution. It is something as simple as having access or improving access to anesthetics. And so we're talking about really basic surgical procedures, equipment, medication, reaching the underserved populations. Talking about frontline healthcare, again, there is a need to build more integrated community health systems. And that also speaks to addressing specific issues such as pediatric cancer. We're seeing, of course, as more children survive early childhood, there is likely to be a rise in pediatric cancer cases, and gross disparities between high-income and low-income countries in pediatric cancer survival rates. So while children in a high-income country have an 85% chance of survival, in low-income countries it's as low as 10 to 20%. And so looking to India, given that half our population lives in remote areas where there's lack of access to health facilities, even if you have health facilities, sometimes lack of electrification, water, basic supplies, which result in limited access to quality healthcare. Can we think about solutions to address these problems? And I recognizing that they are niche areas, but being niche areas also potentially presenting new opportunities.
I think there's an interesting take on it. If to answer this question on niche, it is equally possible that you as a startup are looking at, this is one of the segments that you're playing in. Yeah? So for example, you could be working on cancer, but if some of your offerings are amenable to work on pediatric cancer, then that's fantastic. So while it is easier probably for you to get more support for the larger segment of adult, treating adults, this is an area which might be neglected, and you're making sure that you get that support. Yeah, and then shall I take question 3? Yeah.
Yes, go for it, Shini.
So the thing is that you could say that you're bullish on these segments, but we believe that these are massive segments that people haven't cracked yet, right? Because within Wilgrow, we already work closely on issues in maternal and child health. We work with infectious diseases. We already are working on non-communicable diseases like diabetes and cancer. Digital health seems to have a lot of action because till date, a lot of money or the most models which are scaled have been there. But here's an opportunity to catalyze the segments like pediatric cancer and safe surgery. This kind of support I don't think was there before. We are hoping that what today could be a small market is tomorrow a larger market. It makes a lot of sub-communities which are underserved to get served, and also in a way make these more deeper, democratized technology such that there are more players. So they won't be niche. We hope they won't be niche after we are done with it. Yeah. Are you looking to empower PHC's frontline care in rural areas as well? Han, do you want to take that?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's kind of core focus. So would love to see ideas that address remote areas and really frontline health. So absolutely. And I think there's another question on what is the funding side, and we as UBS open for co-investment. Absolutely, yes, on that as well. So with the right co-investors, definitely hoping that we will be able to make investments into some of the graduates of this cohort in the next month.
So adding to what Han just said, if you are in diagnostics or if you have equipment which screens and can rapidly screen populations, then you probably are the candidate that we're looking for. So equipment which can work without electricity, equipment which doesn't need a lot of skilling, but can get deployed amongst the staff that exist today, like the ASHA workers, getting into remote communities, then you are the kind of candidate that we want, and we want to make sure that you succeed. So there's one more. Is the program open for startups from countries other than India? Little tricky for me to answer that, Han. So because I'll tell you why, let me clarify that a little. I'm just wondering, because we've seen this in the past, that we had companies registered outside India or probably have a subsidiary in India as a startup. They're a startup outside India, but they also have a subsidiary here. We found it a little difficult because of regulations and possibilities, but I'll just maybe leave it open for now. Yeah, unless you have a different take on it.
I think, I mean, for us, we're a global foundation, and so we have partnerships across the world. Of course, we're looking particularly with this program to address better health outcomes for communities in India. So if it's an organization that may be outside of India but looking to address the Indian market potential, but I think it depends on how the program can then engage with the entrepreneur and make it a meaningful and relevant experience. So yeah, I think
let me just add to this.
To keep it open.
Let me add to this. For me, evidence that you're committed to the solution will mean that you probably have a Indian team, right? And some of the leadership is based in India, and you have significant traction, or you have some amount of paying customers here in India. So that, at least for Wellgrow, would demonstrate that there is commitment to making a change here, and that then gives us the leeway, flexibility to consider you. Does that make sense, Dan?
Yeah, that sounds really, that makes a lot of sense, and is I think the right approach as well for the enterprise. Yeah.
Okay, there's one more. Okay, someone seems to be very excited. Just hold on to your horses. You have time to apply. What will make for a successful application? What should you highlight? We want to. So I'm giving you a personal opinion because I'm not the one screening, but I at least know what the person screening will be looking for. We want to be sure that your product is stable, that you have a fairly decent handle on the market, you have a good market or consumer insight, and you know how you can execute. So we want to see demonstration of a stable product. We want to see some demonstration of intent and willingness to execute well. Yeah. But the way you structure your application, I know it's going to be a form, and you can build your case how you want to. But these are two critical things for me at least. Anything you want to add to that?
I think no, I would echo that, and I think in addition to the commitment, of course, also ideas that are addressing the specific problem statements that are outlined. So so the sort of programs or the initiatives with the closest fit, I think would do well.
Fantastic. I think we're done with questions. So we probably can close early and let Anshul handle a lot more in the lounge. Fantastic. Thank you all. And I think I'm going to hand it over to Bala as we close the session.
Okay, thank you so much, Srini, and thank you so much, Dan, for such an engaging discussion. Guys, we have Anshul from UBS Optimus Foundation, also Marisa, who's the program head for health at UBS, is going to be joining us at the networking lounge at 8:15 p.m. Please join the networking lounge whenever you can, and please shoot your questions to them as well directly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you, Dhan.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the
Thanks.
program.
Thanks.
Bye.